All right, hey guys. So, two shadow cards spoiled last night. We have Eloquent Eulogy, the Shadow Runeblade card. We have Shadowrem Horror, Shadow Brute card. We're gonna kind of go over these, give my opinions, give my thoughts on how I think this is gonna shake things up, if at all, um, and just kind of go from there. So the first thing I want to talk about is the first thing that I noticed when I saw these cards, and that is this box right here. Hey, you guys see that? Following my mouse. This right here, this art is insane. It is so cool. I think that this is probably one of my favorite arts in the entire game. I love this. LSS, please. Playmat, please. Anyway, I think it's phenomenal. But the actual card text. It is a one cost red rune gate. Blood Dead, obviously. And then when the combat chain closes, if a hero has lost life this turn, create Eloquence is insanely strong in itself. I think it's probably one of, if not the best token, but utilized correctly. A couple different ways to do it. I made a video a couple months back talking about the different things that you do with Funeral Moon, and one of them being stacking Eloquence triggers. How it works is the Eloquence triggers of the destroy and the giving a non-attack action go again are independent. So if you have an Eloquence token out and someone's lost life that turn, you can play, say, a Funeral Moon at instant, which will trigger both effects of the Eloquence token, giving the Funeral Moon go again, and then putting the destroy trigger on the stack. And then you can respond to the destroy trigger with another Funeral Moon, doing the same thing. So now on the stack is a Eloquence Destroy, Funeral Moon with go again, Eloquence Destroy, Funeral Moon with go. The second Eloquence Destroy won't matter because even though there's not a valid target, not tied to the actual go again effect. So you essentially got 2 action points off of that Eloquence at instant speed when you had 0. So looking at this as the actual card, what you can do, and this is again early lines, I just started thinking about it. We have, let's say, 3 cards in hand and a tunic resource. We have Eloquent Eulogy, we have Beseech the Demigod, and we have Read the Runes. And then we have a Deathly Wail and Banish. We can play the Beseech, targeting the Eloquent Eulogy, paying the life. We can play the Eloquent Eulogy because we had that single rune chant. It'll be essentially 0 for 7, 2 card 7 in this case. Close the chain. It will make the Eloquence token. Use the Tunic resource to creepers out the Read the Runes, which will give us another action point. Because again, Eloquent Eulogy didn't have go again in this case. And then play the Deathly Wail, giving us another 2 rune chance to end the turn. One of the benefits about this is that there are a lot of cases where, like, you have a couple of Deathly Wails and Banish, and you play Revel to get them all out. Well, now your rune chants are going away anyway. This doesn't, because obviously you're not playing Revel in this case. I think this could be some huge turns. I really do think that, like, giving us another way to make Eloquence that isn't Requiem of the Damned, which is almost never played, and Grimoire of the Haunt, which is commonly played but not commonly used, because it's pretty much used as like a closer. I think this can be really good and give us a lot of options, but I don't think that this is going to be meta defining or anything like that. The difficult thing with Eloquence, in my opinion, is that there is not a whole lot to abuse it. A lot of cards are balanced around the fact, again, that you don't have go again. You can have something really strong that's a non-attack action without go again, and it will essentially end the turn. So they can balance around that. But when you have the option to give something go again, it can completely change the entire line of the turn. The fact that it is not as a trigger is difficult. If it was errated to be like a May trigger or something like that, or like the next time you play a non-attack action without go again, it gains go again, it's insane. But without those conditions, the fact that it's just the next non-attack action you play gets go again, it kind of changes the impact that it has, because you can obviously not stack go agains. So if you play like a Mauve Skies and you had a Eloquence that rolled over from the last turn, it's a useless Eloquence, which I think many times this will be the case. I'm almost just treating it as a 1-for-4 in many cases. Sometimes like the Eloquence is going to be insane. Sometimes it's just going to win you the game because you had the Eloquence. Other times it's just not going to matter. It's going to be a 0-for-4. It's going to be a bounding that you had to have a rune chain. I think that's what it's going to very commonly be. Maybe I'm sleeping on this card, but I think the biggest issues that Vynnset faces are the rune chant generation, being you need that to be more consistent. There are too many expensive cards. For instance, Widespread Annihilation needs 4. All the other, like Widespread Destruction and Deathly Wail, need 3, and then the other ones need 2. This being a 1 cost is relevant. That is, don't get me wrong, that is a huge thing. But if this instead was a way to make more rune chants more consistently, I think it'd be better for the deck. Additionally, we do not have like much of a mass banish situation where we want to go multiple attacks in a turn. Kind of have to take a couple of off turns to set that up, and that makes things a little bit difficult. I guess thinking about it now, this could be actually a centerpiece to play around. So, for instance, if you have Read the Runes, you can just arsenal it, and then you can send attacks from hand and still try to like set up a large turn and banish. And then the fact that you're going to have the Eloquence and the Read the Runes, you can just make another action point and then kind of chain them. I think it's definitely going to be an include in the deck. I just don't think it's going to be, again, meta-defining. I don't think it's going to change your power level immensely. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully this is a sleeper and it ends up being phenomenal. But in the current state, unless we get another Shadow or another Runeblade card spoiled, I don't see it. Maybe there's going to be another Shadow Runeblade, but I don't know. I'm hopeful, but I'm not. I'm hopeful and excited, but I'm not going crazy for it. But the art is insane, and I will be getting foils of them without a doubt. Okay. And then the next thing is Shadow Realm Horror. This card is insane. Levia, I really do think is going to get a lot stronger with this. It is a 2-cost red. As an additional cost, banish 3 cards from your graveyard. If 1 or more is a 6, it gets +1. 2 or more, it gets go again. 3 or more, you can play a card from your card banished this way this turn. It's a 6, and I believe it's a 3 block. It's kind of hard to see, but I'm pretty sure that's a 3. This, in my opinion, will replace the Gargoyle. The 2-cost 7 attack red Gargoyle, or the yellow for 6 one. Those are just essentially vanilla banish 3. In Levia, I think they're mainly just played for like keeping blood debt low or keeping blood debt high but turning it off. I think it's just a replacement over those. Just downright. If you play those, you're playing this instead. I'm not a huge Levia player, but I do play Levia quite a bit. I don't think that I'm an expert, but I think I'm okay. And in my okay opinion, I think this card is going to be really good. We're almost always getting at least one, so it's almost always going to be that 2 for 7 red. And there are some cases where it's just going to have go again. And then there's some cases where it's just going to have go again, and then you can play something out of the banish that you just banished. This is going to call into question how much, like, sixes Levia wants, because I do think there's a lot of Levias on the blue non-attack action to make a might and agility, and I'm not sure where that sits after this, because it seems like you're going to want more sixes than you previously did, because in Levia before, it was always if you banished a 6. So you just had to hit 1 of 3, and you got the effect. Now you kind of want to hit 2 or 3 of 3. So I think it's going to be really important that your graveyard is a lot more 6s than would be in other scenarios, but I don't know if that is game-changing. Because, for instance, if it already has an agility, you don't need to hit 2 of. You don't even need to hit any of them to have your turn continue. But 3 or more, you may play a card banished this way this turn. That's insane. If you hit like a Shadowpede off of this, it's a 2-card 13. Because it's a blue Shadowrem Horror, the 3 banish, and then the Shadowpede for 1. That's pretty crazy. Obviously, you have to have a lot more things line up, but that's crazy. So I think this card is going to be a 3 of in every Levia deck. And I think Eloquent Eulogy will also be a 3 of in every Vynn deck. But I don't think that it's going to be this huge card that's going to put her in S tier and it's going to be super insane. I think it's just another like piece to the puzzle that we need. And that piece to the puzzle is very important, but it's just another piece. It's not the whole puzzle. It hasn't come together. So those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'm hoping that maybe I'm wrong on Eloquent Eulogy. Maybe it's insane. But and in its current state and with the card pool that we have, I don't see it being super insane. It's going to be good. I'm happy that we at least got something. And it's not the Visceri spec that we got in Bright Light. It's not Galaxy either. Like, I think Galaxy is fine, but that didn't really. We play it sometimes. There's a 1 of in some decks. Again, I think this is going to be a 3 of, but we'll have to see how it actually ends up in the meta with Eloquence, and if there's more ways to abuse it. Maybe we go back to Tome of Fiendal. There's options. And I think that giving us more ways to make Eloquence gives us more options, and I think that's really healthy for the deck. It doesn't really help with the consistency, which I see as the biggest weakness, but more options are always cool. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Give a like, give a sub. Tell me how much you love the art, because this art goes hard. And thanks for watching. See you guys in the next.